We're talking with Dr. Renae Reinardy about phobias. So what do we do to conquer some of these phobias?
Well, there's lots of different things that we can do to conquer different phobias. So the key to overcoming fear is intentionally exposing yourself to these feared triggers. So we want to be proactive, not reactive to these situations or events or animals that make us uncomfortable. So in that situation with the spider, you were proactive. You decided, okay, this is how I'm going to respond in this situation. When we're reactive, it happens to us, and we don't really habituate to that. So it's good to intentionally say, okay, this is what I'm going to do to overcome my phobia. So there's a phobia, fear of snow. So we're getting lots of exposure to that fear right now if somebody has that fear of becoming snowbound. So it's something, but you have to have the right attitude. You have to approach it on purpose. So, and we'll practice a little bit today too, and with your phobia, on how to be able to overcome spiders.
Okay, is that a matter of putting a picture up?
Yeah, we do have some graphics, I believe. So you can see this first graphic. And when you overcome phobias, we want to do it gradually, not this flooding method. So I didn't bring, 20 tarantulas in with me today. All right?
Come and get me.
That's right. So we might start, if the fear is more severe, with an exposure image like this friendly little cartoon, all right? And what I would have somebody do is look at that over and over with the fear, that's a spider, with the thought, that's a spider, that's a spider. We'll work up to a more realistic cartoon like this. And then we might move to an actual picture of a spider, which I think I have next.
Oh.
So, and looking at that, that's a tarantula, that's a tarantula, that's a tarantula, that's a tarantula. With repetition comes this process of habituation, all right? And then I think we have a final image there as well. Kind of an up close and personal view there. I put on there a face only a mother could love. But yeah, and what happens is as you gradually stand up to these, you'd start oftentimes with photographs or pictures like this, and then work up to maybe a really tiny spider from in a jar all the way across the room, and then move that jar a little closer, move it a little closer, move it a little closer. Go to the pet store, look at the tarantula in the cage from across the room, get a little closer, get a little closer, and that's how we overcome our fears. Is start small and kind of build your emotional muscles so that these things are not so terrifying.
What if it's like a fear of heights? Do you gradually go to the ledge?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So that you can still look at, watch YouTube clips of people in high places or different views. So there's lots of different ways to gradually approach these phobias. Starting from just a little bit up, take 2 steps up on the ladder, stand at the top of the stairs and look over. You stand from 1 story over the top of a parking ramp or a balcony. So, and then kind of work your way up.
That's interesting.
So someone's got a horrible phobia, for example, against spiders. Do you take them through that process in an hour? Is it 2 weeks?
It depends on how severe the phobia is. So typically it does take several weeks to really work through the phobia in a way that's going to extinguish it for the long term. So sometimes people get into situations where they are in a flooding situation. So I don't like bats very much. So I've been in a situation where I've been out like on the side of a mountain hiking and go into a cave and there's tons of bats that are around.
That would not be good.
Now, if I'm in that situation, I need to stay there because it's going to take a long time for my emotion to habituate. With an easier, like if I looked at a cartoon of a bat, it's going to take me 2 minutes to get bored with that. When I'm in a real situation, a real cave, I'm probably going to have to stay in there for a long time for my emotions to calm down. So it really depends on what level you're working on with your hierarchy, the different steps that you're taking to stand up to your fear, for how strong that anxiety is. But phobias are very treatable. That's the good news. Sometimes people will do relaxation along with that, or different types of psychotropic medications can be helpful as well.
Very interesting. Any final words as we wrap up? We've got about 20 seconds or so.
I think just to understand that this is something that's very difficult to overcome on your own. And to know that you're not alone with these fears. So you can either on your own set up a little behavioral hierarchy and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. First I'm going to look at these pictures, then I'm going to watch a video, then I'm going to go to the pet store or whatever it is, and see how that goes. If you're struggling, that's where a cognitive behavioral therapist can come in to help you set up that hierarchy and help you take those initial steps.
That's so great. I didn't know it all these years.
Thank you, Dr. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Stay with us when we come back. You're going to find out how to get a free piece of pie. We'll be right back.